Buddhism. Okay, just hold on. And this fourth session is particularly special because the session is conducted via Zoom and also held simultaneously. Sorry?
Sorry, the speaker here is a bit, yeah, just continue, yeah?
Okay.
It's okay.
So this fourth session is particularly special because the session is conducted via Zoom and also held simultaneously at the Shah Alam Buddhist Society in Malaysia. My name is Louise and I'm the host for the Zoom session. Before we begin tonight's session, here are a few reminders for those who are joining us on Zoom tonight. To show our respect to Venerable and to all our fellow participants, please keep your camera on while Venerable is speaking. And during the session, if you have any question for Venerable, you can either leave them in the chat box or hold them until the Q&A session. Let me give everyone a brief introduction of Venerable Youmin. Venerable Youmin comes from Malaysia and took ordination in 2007. He pursued Buddhist studies in Taiwan, the United States, and Japan. And currently, Venerable Youmin is a Ph.D. candidate at Kyoto University. His Dharma teaching combine research and meditation. Together with Venerable Youmin, let us now continue to explore the wisdom and practices of Mahayana Buddhism within the Chinese culture. Okay, Shifu, can we now invite you to lead us in paying respect to the Buddha and to recite the name of Buddha?
Sure, thanks, Louis. May you all please join your palms together and recite after me. Homage to the Supreme Teacher, Sakyamuni Buddha.
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 Okay, thank you. You may put down your hands. So, welcome all back. I would say after the holiday, but now I think about it, we're still in holiday, right? Well, many of us here in Malaysia, this is a school holiday. And I heard that many people went to sightseeing. I heard that it took 20 hours to drive to the southern part of Thailand from Kuala Lumpur. I have no idea what 20 hours mean, staying in a car. I only knew that 20 hours can take me all the way from Singapore to New York. So that is a fun of holiday. Yeah, so anyway, welcome back. Yeah, I'm really glad to see we have, let's see how many participants are online here. Okay, but we have about 20 people here. It's good to keep this class in this size so that we can have a little bit more discussion going on. All right, let's go to the first talk. All right, as usual, I remember last week, we stopped before we had time to answer the last two questions. And something happened with the questions, according to Louis. So it wasn't recorded and it wasn't copied. So anyway, if you remember, you have any comments, you have any questions, you have anything you want to share, let's take a couple of minutes in the beginning. Yeah. And okay, that's a very brief refresh. Okay, I think this one, the battery is low. Let me change to the other one. Take that to that. Can I ask change another one? About, yeah, we did an exercise, remember? I try to imitate how an Indian monk would read the text. Of course, I did a poor job. And I asked you guys to, to have a feel of how to translate from Sanskrit to Chinese, but we did it in English, but the procedure was actually very similar. Well, we imagine we were only doing it, 4 or 5 people in that group, but usually in the ancient time, in the Tang Dynasty in China, they involve maybe dozens. The smallest, there was like a few hundred people at a time. Everyone trying to do the translation. Yeah, that's why I was very happy. I received a message last week saying that, oh, no, now he felt or she feel very grateful knowing how the Chinese text came about. It involved so much effort by our previous teachers, by all the great monks thousands of years ago. So yeah, we really feel appreciative when we read the text. Now, no matter it is in Pali, in Chinese, in English, it involves a lot of translation. So we talk about the two main schools in Mahayana Buddhism, the Yogacara and the Madhyamaka. Yeah. One is a mind only, the other one is emptiness. Everyone understand emptiness now? What is emptiness? Yeah. Just before the class began, I just heard, someone trying to explain the meaning of emptiness to a friend, to a classmate. And she brought out something, on the side, a handphone, and said, "This is emptiness." And then the other one said, "No, I have no clue what emptiness is." Well, no matter where you are, I still have no clue what emptiness is. That is how, we try to make sense of it. It's hard. Okay, so anything else you need to add or any questions, just you remember now, you can either type in the chat box or, okay, I saw one in the chat box now. Your slide isn't in full screen. Is it in full screen for you guys? Louis, is it now in full screen?
Just hold on, I'm trying to do this. No, it's not in full screen.
Okay. Okay, I don't want to be the spoiler, yeah? Okay, let me do it again. Now it should be. I want to share again with the desktop. Okay, it should be full screen now, is it?
Yes. It's full screen now.
Perfect. All right, thanks for raising that. Okay, any more questions? Well, there's no yet. What is the highest and final realization of Buddhas? Yes. Okay, I have also one online. Sorry, you cannot see it. Okay, get the mic, right? You are the second one, all right? Okay, the first one I see here online is what is the highest and final realization of Buddhas? Is it non-dualism or Buddha nature? I think you must have read something that we are going to talk about today. Non-dualism or Buddha nature. What is the highest realization of Buddha nature? I would say, well, according to Mahayana Buddhism, to most schools of Mahayana Buddhism, yeah, the Buddha nature is something that everyone carries. You and I, we have the Buddha nature. That means that we have the potential to become the Buddha in our nature. I mean, the essence, right? Don't talk about our senses, our soul. No, nothing like that. There's something that is not expressible, that is something you cannot touch. The most essence part of a human being, of any sentient beings, we call the Buddha nature. Yes, that everyone will have that. Yeah. So that is a final realization. Yes, the final realization means that we come to know our Buddha nature and be one with it. So that is the understanding of realization, final realization. But is it non-dualism? Yes, when we finally see our own Buddha nature, that is non-dualism. That means there's no you and I anymore. Because Buddha nature is universal, it's the same for you, for me, and for the dog, and for your neighbor who you dislike. We all have the same Buddha nature. So once we realize that, dualism means that it's always a you and I, there's always a good and bad, there's always judgment. So non-dualism means that, oh, now we realize that we are is essentially the same. in a way. There's no judgment anymore. So in that sense, yes, final realization is non-dualism, and because you understand that we come from the same Buddha nature. Okay, I hope that understands. So yeah, that explains your answer your questions. All right. So may I get your name? Vijaya. Vijaya. I know. I understand meaning Jaya. V means, what does a V means? All right. Oh, maybe grab the mic, yeah, so that everyone can hear you. Yeah, you need to press the on button. Yeah.
Sure. But I think VJ or Vijaya
Yeah.
means victorious.
Oh, Victoria. Okay, okay.
So I think so.
All right. All right. Sorry about that. I was just thinking about Sanskrit word now. Really? Oh, so what is how does a lady who sound like Vijayish or Vijayali? Something like that. Okay. Good, good, Vijaya. Now I remember your name until I die. Okay. Definitely. That's a trick. All right. Please ask. Yeah.
I mean, I've always been interested in Buddhism, minus beginner stage. And last week you mentioned that form is like equal to emptiness.
Yeah.
And emptiness is like equal to form.
Yeah.
It's my understanding. Where there is form, there is emptiness. Where there is emptiness, there is form. I'm a bit confused on this because form in my mind is form and emptiness is like vacuum.
Yeah.
So that part of form equals to emptiness, maybe for the lay person's understanding, maybe
Yeah.
last week, right? So
Yes. Oh, congratulations. This is the first step of understanding what is emptiness. Yeah, what you say is our common way of understanding it. Emptiness is empty, right? Lack of things as empty. But if you want to explain it in a very in the modern terms, I would say emptiness is actually not so much referring to what is outside, what is inside. It's more about how we see things. It's the way we see things. Well, of course, I can see that this is the cup here, right? So this is a form. I can see the cup, right? The round shape, And if I just see it as a cup, of course, it's a mundane way. But the Buddha tells us that no, a cup is not really a cup. It sounds like a game, yeah. A cup is not really a cup. Why? Because if you take out the cover, cannot take out. Let's say you break it apart. The handle, the bottom of it, the outside, like we call it aluminum. If you break it down part by part, what you are left with, at some point, the concept of a cup is gone, right? It's no longer a wask. That's why it is a wask. It's no longer a wask. It's becoming what? Pieces, right? So the idea of emptiness is that by looking at this vase, like in the beginning, I understand that the idea of a vase is just something I created because it is formed by pieces, very small pieces. When they form together, it gives me the idea of a cup. But a cup is not something that is real. When you take out the part, one thing at a time, at some point, I don't know when can you stop calling it a wask? Understand what I mean? There's another game my Tibetan master used to play to me, right? When I asked the question of emptiness. So he pointed at me, okay, now he said, okay, see, so he called my name. Youmin, you go further, okay? So I go and stand at the end of the door. So he said, okay, now he pointed at me, right? He said, okay, now who am I pointing at? I said, Youmin. All right, okay, so he pointed at me, right? So okay, then he asked, okay, come closer. So when I got a bit closer, so he pointed at me again. So what am I pointing at? I said, still me, Youmin, you're pointing at me. He said, no, look carefully. Then I look at his hand. Actually, he's pointing at my, let's say at my chest. Okay, so is this Youmin? I said, well, you're pointing at my chest, right? This is not Youmin. But when I was far away, it's very sure, right? He's pointing at me. But when I went closer, you see that the finger is already pointing at some parts of myself. So imagine it this way. If Youmin is something real, right? So that means that when he points at me, okay, this is Youmin. So whatever he's not pointing at, like the door, the frame, the cups, everything are not Youmin, right? So they can take it away, right? Just me left there, standing there myself, Youmin. But when I came closer, the same thing happened. He pointed at my chest. I said, oh, this is Youmin. I said, all right, so this is Youmin. Then your head, your arms, your legs are not you, right? Because I'm not pointing at those. So take your head away, take your arms away, take your foot away. What are you left with? So, well, I still have my chest. Well, maybe your heart is there, right? So my heart maybe is me. Okay. Take it all the way. So take out your chest. Take out your heart. Yeah, it's still pumping. Oh, so this is you? Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's me. Okay, this is Youmin. So we keep pointing. Take closer. Now he points at part of my heart. He said, so which one is you? Not the whole heart. The heart is so big, like your fist. Oh, bigger than your fist, I think. So he pointed at one part of it. He said, whatever is not you, take it away. So you chop your heart, got more smaller pieces, and then the more you do it, at the end you found nothing. So the idea of Youmin just somehow disappeared during the process. So I don't know how you can make out what you can make out of this idea of emptiness is how we see things as they are. So this is emptiness. Got it? Okay, now we come to a more practical discussion. What does that do if you understand emptiness? Well, theoretically, you say emptiness is form is emptiness, but is that going to change anything in my daily life? Yeah, imagine this way, yeah. If you have a boss that you dislike, right? Or your partner that you really feel like, I rather not, I can't stay with him like for one more minute. Right? Those kind of things happen. Imagine when you're upset about a particular person. So we carry on with our daily kind of interpretation. Oh, he's a bad guy. My boss always yells at me with no reason, never raised my pay for 10 years, things like that. So you hate him from the top to the toe, right? Every inch of it, you just hear the voice, you just saw you just see the shadow, you feel like, it's a bad guy. So by understanding emptiness, we can start to build a different perspective. Because emptiness tells us that it depends on how we see things, because for someone who doesn't treat us so well, we say that we categorize them as someone, bad or very negative. But emptiness tells us that it all depends on how we what perspective we look at them. Your boss is also like, he may be a father or a mother to someone, right? I'm sure when he or she goes back, the family love them very dearly, right? So from other perspective, this is such a lovely parent. But why, at this point in time, when I'm staying with him in the same office, I treat him as a bad guy? Like, the one that I really want to punch first if I really have a temper. So what is happening there? Is he a bad guy or a good guy? Is it a bad boss or a good father? But what is he actually? Right? What is he? So that the idea of emptiness kind of bring about a new perspective of telling us that no one has a fixed character. It depends on which angle we look at. So the bad boss, this kind of idea is actually something that we generated, something we created in our mind based on circumstances. So this is the idea of emptiness. The boss, that person himself, like, it's not something to be judged good or bad. It depends on how we interact, what he did, our experience. So it could be anything. So this is the idea of emptiness. So for me, at least when I understand this, when I try to feel dislike towards somebody, when somebody really did something that made me want to, oh, that kind of things, the same habit that they repeat every time, think for 1 or 2 seconds, right? Is there anything you can do? Well, if it is, voice it out, communicate, try to do something. There's nothing you can do. The same guy has been doing the same thing for 20 years. That is like, it's not going to change whatever. If you accept that fact, well, then the only thing you can do is change your mind because it's empty, right? It's not about a passive way of dealing with relationship. It's about not so rigid and firm about our opinions and views. So the idea of emptiness helps us to understand how they see the world, be open, be ready to change. So that is what I mean, the practical way of understanding emptiness. All right, I don't want to say too much about it. Okay. Louis, maybe I think I shall start. And
Yes, I think you should start.
maybe in the middle,
Yeah.
you'll stop me and then we jump to there are at least 3 questions in the chat
Okay.
box. All right.
Sure.
All right, we have Sharon, we have Min, we have Eddie. Okay, wait for a moment. Let us just go. If not, I can keep talking for 2 hours and well, fine. Sorry, half an hour gone. Okay, let's go. All right, today talk about practices and rituals. I want you to see this. Yeah? Let's chant in Mandarin. 家家弥陀佛，户户观世音。家家弥陀佛，户户观世音。Okay, this is a very popular saying in Chinese Buddhism. It says that everybody knows how to chant Amitofo. Amitofo? Like when you say hi to me just now, is you join your palm and say Amitofo, right? What is Amitofo? Amitabha. That's the name of a Buddha, right? In the land called the Pure Land or the Western Pure Land, right? And every household worships Guan Yin. Guan Yin is Avalokitesvara, right? Guan Yin Pusa. So I love this saying because this is very true. Right? In my house, my mom, she only became a Buddhist after I became a monk for 10 years. But anyhow, we have a Guan Yin Pusa at home, right? We have a Buddha shrine and we have Guan Yin Pusa. And sometimes, whenever you see me, she'll call me Sifu and sometimes say Amitofo. Most Chinese in Malaysia, everybody knows Amitofo. Everybody pay respect to the Guan Yin Pusa. So this is, no matter whether you're Buddhist or not, everybody will know that. So why? Why? Who are these two people? Who are these two Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Why are they so popular? Right? You see the photo here? We have the picture of Guan Yin, right? Guan Yin Pusa. And then, where is the Buddha Amitofo? At your back? At the back? Where? I can't see the back. Is it here? Oh. Yeah, someone said at the head. Yes, interesting, yeah. So now I teach you a trick, right? If you go to a Chinese temple, I know sometimes your experience might be very out of the world, right? Because there's so many Buddhas and statues. They look alike, but still not the same. Who is who? Some holding a bowl, some holding a hand, some with a gesture like this, some like this, some like this. Some even hold like a very kind of different, hand gesture. It's who? Well, now I teach you a very simple trick. Guan Yin, the Guan Yin Bodhisattva, sometimes she appears like, as cute as this. Well, I don't think we have this, like, maybe something very different. Yeah? But usually the Guan Yin pose that you have Amitabha on the top of her head. This is a very distinctive characteristic of the Avalokitesvara. Why? Because Amitofo was and is the teacher of Bodhisattva Guan Yin, according to the legend. Yeah? So the teacher, the disciple, that's why they're so close. Okay, anyway. So what is it about? So in order to talk about this, you need to go a little bit deeper about the Chinese Buddhism. right? I will go to talk about some theories and philosophies. Anyway, I will try to make it short and simple, right? And we had kind of discussion a little bit after that. All right. In order to understand, I mean, to have a feel of Chinese Buddhism, there are two schools that I have to talk about, even though their theories and philosophies are very complicated, but doesn't matter. Just at least you got heard about what is a Tian Tai and the other one is Hua Yan. Okay, what is a Tian Tai? Let's give you a brief bio of Tian Tai. These are two most important philosophical Mahayana Chinese Buddhist school in China since before Tang Dynasty, Sui Dynasty, yeah, about 6th century, more than 1,000 years old. Right, this school has been formed in China for more than for about 1,500 years old. So Tian Tai School, let's first talk about it. Tian Tai actually comes from the name of the mountain called Tian Tai, right, meaning heavenly terrace in Zhejiang, which is a real mountain, and there's a temple on the top. It's called Tian Tai Si. Of course, the name was changed, I think, once, but anyhow, now we still call them the Tian Tai Si. So, name after the mountain, and the founder is Zhi Zhe, or Zhi Yi, right? Zhi Yi is the name. He lived in the 6th century. So, of course, the first patriarch is Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna is an Indian monk. He was probably the 1st century, so a few hundred years older than Zhi Yi. It's interesting that, as I say, right, the Tian Tai school was formed in China, but in order to legitimize, it means to give it a kind of like a status, right, a rigid kind of a status that everybody will agree. So they always trace back to the monks from India, right, to the masters in India. So for Tian Tai school, they say our first teacher was Nagarjuna. They talk about the Madhyamada school, remember? Emptiness, the one who propagated emptiness. So Nagarjuna. So they trace all the way back. So today we're going to talk about 3 different schools of Chinese Buddhism. All of them trace back to the Indian monks, the Indian masters. It's very interesting. Yeah? So, of course, something very special about Tian Tai school is they call the Lotus Sutra. Yeah, we're going to talk about this after this. Lotus Sutra is one of the sutra in Chinese Buddhism. One of the most important, I will say, very, very important. Lotus Sutra, 妙法莲华经. Yeah, they say that for this school, they think that this is the Buddha's ultimate teaching. Yeah, the Tian Tai school. Okay, well, simple bio. I mean, there are pieces of information just to give you a rough idea how we started. Okay, the Tian Tai school, what do they believe? What do they say? Remember we mentioned last week that one of the major characteristics of Chinese Buddhism is because all the teaching from the Buddha came in at the same time. Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, they all came at the same time to China. So everybody was confused. Oh, which one is elementary? Which one is secondary? Which one is maybe undergraduate, graduate, or Ph.D. They have no idea which one that came first. So what they did was all the masters, they spent centuries trying to figure out how to make sense of all the huge amount of texts that came from India or places around India that came to China. So the first thing, remember this is a school that formed in China. The first thing they do is they make sense of all the texts that are available at the time. So for this one, they divided the Buddha teaching into 5 periods, right? From the beginning to the end. Okay, what did the Buddha teach? So this is a very interesting one. He said that, okay, after the Buddha became enlightened, he spent the first 3 weeks of his enlightenment talking about another text we call the Flower Garland, Hua Yan, right? Which we will talk about after this, Hua Yan. Okay, just a little reminder. Now the school we're talking about is Tiantai, right? Tiantai. Tiantai is a big rivalry to Huayan. These two are like brothers, but they are the big rivalry, you know. They rivals against each other, right? The best friend, but they're also the best, the worst enemy. Yeah, they try to, you know, become the best among the other. Okay, so they say that the first 3 weeks, the Buddha taught Huayan, right? They're enemies. The text like hold by the enemies, but say, oh, sorry, too profound. No one could understand, right? That was what happened. And then after that, the Buddha gave up talking about Huayan. He said, okay, for next 12 years, the Buddha taught the Agama teaching as in Theravada Buddhism. All right, the early Buddhism, Theravada. And after 12 years, the Buddha started to teach Mahayana Buddhism, right? But the elementary Mahayana Buddhism, the first stage of Mahayana, what is it? We talk about Bodhisattva, how to become a Bodhisattva instead of Arhat. And after that, for the majority of the Buddha's time, he taught the perfection of wisdom, which is emptiness, sunyata. He taught emptiness. And the final 8 years, of course, before the Buddha went to Nirvana, he taught the Lotus Sutra. Okay? Remember, Tiantai holds Lotus Sutra as the most important text. That's why they say that, of course, Lotus Sutra is the one that the Buddha finally taught before he went to Nirvana, and that is the most important text. All right, of course, you ask me, Chifu, is it real? Right? The Buddha taught the first 3 weeks talk about Huayan. Is it real? But how come I never heard about it from Theravada Buddhism? Okay, the truth is, this has no historical support to show that, you know, this idea actually, you cannot back it up with any textual evidence. At least now we cannot prove them, but now this is what the Tiantai school, this is how they look at all the texts and how they believe. Yeah, when we look at the same thing happening to Huayan, you will see it's a different thing. Yeah, so this is a very interesting comparison. Okay, just for you know that this is how the Tiantai school talk about their own philosophy. Okay, now what do they actually talk about? Tiantai is also a very interesting school. They're saying that everything good and evil exists in everything. You, of course, you and I, right? I have good characteristics. Of course, I do have some bad. I mean, something bad is also inside me, right? Some like a bad emotions. Okay, so it's fine, right? How about a Buddha? Do you think the Buddha got only the good merits? Does the Buddha had bad intention? Or the bad seeds in the Buddha? Or called the seeds? Do you think so? Yes? No?
No.
Yes? No? Okay. No bad intention. How about, okay, let me put it this way. How about, the Buddha is all the good, right? Good dharmas, good merits. How about any negative potential in the Buddha's mind? What is negative potential? No, zero, right? Really? How about you? What are you?
Sometimes you have to be bad to be good.
Okay, you just say sometimes you have to be bad to be good. Anyway, so I think you more belong to the Tiantai school, okay? All others belong to, maybe we all belong to Huayan or something else. Okay, what's interesting is about the Tiantai school says that even the Buddha contain evil things, bad and good. He said exists in everything, even the Buddha. So he said, what's the difference between the Buddha and us? Is that the Buddha knew that he could do bad. He had the potential to do bad, but he had a power to subside. He chose not to. Interesting, right? If we put that, you know, if we ask another religion, if I'm a Christian, is God good or bad? Absolutely, there's no other answer, right? Only good, no bad intention, like no bad. But Tiantai school is say that bad and evil, you know, because they are from a standpoint of emptiness. Remember emptiness? Emptiness means that form is empty, empty is soul. It means everything has both sides. So there's no good or bad. about good or bad. It depends on how you see them. So this is actually kind of very Chinese way of thinking, right? You remember Chinese say about yin and yang, right? One is yang is more bright, and then yin is more like a little bit dark and shadowy. So this is actually a bit influenced by the Chinese thinking, right? So it's interesting. It's good and evil. Even the Buddha contained the evil, but the Buddha has a power not to express it or not to realize it, not to use it. That's the difference. Interesting. I don't think other school ever dare to say that. Okay, anyway. So is it nirvana is not separate from samsara? Where's nirvana? Nirvana is a final goal, right? The Buddha achieved. Is it? It's the same. You don't need to go to nirvana here. To practice here, you can transform your surroundings, your family, your friend. Everyone become the bodhisattva, like a Buddha led here. So this is what they believe, right? So even a tree can achieve Buddhahood. There's also something quite bizarre, right? We say that sentient beings. What is sentient beings? Anything can have feelings, right? Anything can think. They've got consciousness, right? So for this school, they say that even a tree and a rock, they have the Buddha nature. They will eventually become Buddha in the future. It's hard to understand, how they come to this conclusion. But I think for a long time, this is how they develop their theory to become that. So that means that everyone has Buddha nature, because this sentence, we can find it in many Mahayana texts. Everyone has Buddha nature. So that's why they say that, no, you say everything has Buddha nature. That means even a rock has Buddha nature, right? If you don't include rock, then your statement, everything has Buddha nature, is wrong. So this is how they argue about it, right? Okay, anyway, just to know that. They say the Buddha is an eternal being, So it came to so I remember I heard a story about, like the Siddhartha Gautama when the prince, right? But before he became the Buddha. Actually, remember, like, there was a story I always heard from my teacher saying that, oh, this is just a show. The Buddha just came to this world to show us how to practice. Actually, he's already enlightened long time ago, not just this time. He just keep playing. It's like this is like, for him, it's a show for him to he play as a role from somebody, human being, to become a Buddha, but he was already a Buddha. So, because why? The Buddha is eternal, is what they say. Eternal means that the Buddha was here, the Buddha is here, and he will be here forever. He's everywhere. You see, like this kind of idea become, very much elaborated. The Buddha is everywhere. So Buddha is eternal. And okay, so how to practice? They say that there's only one way to practice, right? All the ways, Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all the ways we can find is actually all the ways can lead us to Buddhahood, right? It depends on what suits you. So for them, it's very for the Tian Tai school, they try to incorporate, they try to take in all the teachings, and they say, oh, it's valid, it's okay, that is taught by the Buddha. So it's just that depends on which one you like. Pick one, right? For them, they got one vehicle. Okay. All right. So now we come to in this Lotus Sutra, this is a very important, a very famous text. It's called the Universal Door of Guanyin Bodhisattva, Bumenpin, right? Guanyin Pusa Bumenpin. This is the one that most Chinese temple we chant during many festivals. I remember in Japan, the Zen temple that I go to every week, they chant it every morning, right? The Pumenpin chant it every morning. So this is one part of the very important text in Mahayana Chinese Buddhism, and this is from the Lotus Sutra, right? One of the chapter on the Lotus Sutra. Okay, this is a very beautiful text. It teaches, talk about why the Guanyin Pusa is so important, right, for us practitioners. May I invite someone to recite this? Okay, the mic is over there. Can you see clearly from all the way back? Okay, anyone? Okay, anyone want to try? Okay.
The universal door of Quan Yin Bodhisattva. If a person who upholds the name of Quan Yin Bodhisattva enters a great fire, the fire will not burn him, all because of this Bodhisattva's awesome spiritual power. If a person being tossed about in the great sea calls out the Bodhisattva's name, he will find a shallow place. If hundreds of thousands of living beings who seek gold, silver, and so forth enter the great sea, an evil wind may toss their boats into the territory of the evil ghost. But if among them there is even one person who calls out the name of Quan Yin Bodhisattva, they will all be saved from the difficulty of the devils. For this reason, he is called Quan Yin.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Can you get a feeling of it, right? If you chant this every day, I know there are temples that will chant this short sutra, not too short. Take about 15 minutes to chant from the beginning to the end. It talks about how powerful the Guanxing, because Avalokiteshvara, the whole term in Sanskrit means that the great hearer, Guan means, actually you can speak from a Chinese, Guan means observe, to see, to observe. Guan Shi means the word, right? Yin, all the voices calling for help from around the world, not just this world, but all other worlds. The Bodhisattva can hear it, right? He observed, he hear it, and then he or she went there to help them. So this text is very beautiful. It says that whoever is in trouble, right? Just call out the name. Call out the name of the Bodhisattva. He will come to save you, to help you, right? If you have that faith, if you have like that devotion that's strong enough. So this text is included in a Lotus Sutra. So it gives us a way of, it shows how important the faith in the Bodhisattva, Guan Yin is, right? So this is part of the text that is also hold very highly by the Tiantai school, right? You really have to practice, right? So so you can see from this text that it doesn't mean that you need to understand a lot of theories, philosophies, or you need to understand emptiness. No, not that yet. Just call the name. Right? It's interesting, right? Just call the name, and the Buddha, the Bodhisattva will come to guide you, to help you. Right? It's a very convenient way, right? Just as long as you have the strong will to do that. All right. What else? Can you use the mic? Right? Yeah. To see if you have any questions.
Okay. Regarding the Guan Yin, in Chinese Buddhism, the different sects, the Huayan, the Yogacara, and all that, do they have Guan Yin as well?
Interesting.
Part of the teaching?
Actually, the name Avalokiteshvara, it doesn't appear in many texts. I mean, it's more like for Chinese Buddhism, it's more like a local belief, right? It has merged with many local kind of like miracle stories. Like there's a version that says that the Guan Yin was once a princess, right? In ancient China. So the belief in Guan Yin菩萨actually is not in all the texts. In Yogacara, you won't find Avalokiteshvara. Right? It's more like a devotional kind of practice. Then you will see Avalokiteshvara, right? And of course, in the Heart Sutra, the Xinjing, right? The Heart Sutra talks about emptiness. So it talks about, it started with the name Avalokitesvara, right? So he was having a conversation with the Buddha, and the Buddha was giving him instruction. So in this, there are few cases that the Buddha was having conversation with the Guan Yin, the Avalokitesvara, but that was from India source, and the Chinese source is more like a local figure who become like a goddess person. So in China, we mix them together and become like a devotional figure in Chinese Buddhism. But you won't find that really talk about in the, let's say, Yogacara text. Right? It doesn't really play a role in there. May I know why you asked the question?
Because let's say for us in Malaysia,
Yeah.
We kind of like look at the Guan Yin. It's very prevalent.
Yeah.
It's all over the place, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody believes in Guan Yin.
Yeah, it's right behind
They
me.
pray
Yeah.
to Guan Yin, you know.
Yeah.
So since our origins, you know, of us, our background is from Chinese Buddhism, from China. And then there are these various sects that are there in China. So I just wonder whether all these sects do have Guan Yin as a basis of their teachings.
Oh, no, not really, not all. As I said, Guan Yin is more like a devotional bodhisattva that help us to practice. But the Guan Yin doesn't give us like a philosophical idea. Oh, this is emptiness.
So in other words, because here you say Guan Yin bodhisattva, so is incorporated into one of the sect's teachings, is it?
Which sect's about?
Tian Tai.
Tian Tai. Yeah, it is in the sutra, the Lotus Sutra. It is in there, yes.
But it's not in other sects.
Well, okay, one thing I say about the Lotus Sutra, even though it is held by Tian Tai school, right? Tian Tai school pick this text and say, oh, this is the ultimate teaching by the Buddha. It is the most important, but it is still available to all schools. Like even though I'm not from Tian Tai, I'm from the Chan or Zen, right? In Japanese, Chan, but we still chant the text of Lotus Sutra. So the sutra is the Mahayana Sutra, but is so important in Chinese culture that all the school will chant this text. Even though, but how are we going to use it? It depends on how the masters, you know, how they are being seen in the school itself. So it really depends. Yeah, because the text is available to all schools, not just one. But they choose to tell that this is the highest one. This is the most important one. Okay? All right. Well, let's move on. So the Tian Tai school, the Lotus Sutra. So the Lotus Sutra is really interesting, actually. I encourage you to read because it's full of stories. Full of stories. Like if you read the whole text, like sometimes you have an idea that what does it talk about? You know, sometimes it didn't even tell you the summary or whatever. There's no summary. There's no introduction. There's a lot of stories inside. Okay, these are some of the stories that I really love. This is one of them, the Jew in the robe. What is said about, they will say, oh, this was a poor man, you know, he lived a very miserable life. But one day he went to see his rich friend, just went to visit him, and they had a drink. And after that, he got drunk. So this rich man, he's saying that, wow, poor guy, you know, how could I help him? But since he was drunk, there was no way to wake him up. So he kind of, okay, I had to go now. But so he secretly put a very expensive, very invaluable piece of jewel inside his pocket. And then he sewed it up inside his clothes. So the next day, the poor guy woke up and he didn't know that there was a jewel in his pocket. He carried on with his life as usual, becoming more and more miserable. And after a few years, by chance, they met again. And the rich guy was like, so surprised, like, my goodness, I gave you a very precious jewel. Why are you still living like this? I said, jewel? What Jew? He didn't know it all. And then, at the end, he finally realized that, oh, there's a piece of, very precious Jew in my pocket. Right? So what did he do? Only at that time, he sold the Jew and then he got the money, make his life better. Okay. Of course, it's a parable. So what's the teaching? What does it teach us about? There's always a moral teachings in all the stories here. Okay, anyone can guess? Even online too? What is a Jew represent? What does a Jew represent? Goodness? Precious? What else? More specifically? Oh, okay. Someone in the Zoom said Buddha nature, Buddha dharma. Yes, you're right. Buddha nature, right? The story talks about a Buddha nature. Remember, we talk about Tian Tai. What they believe is everyone has a Buddha nature. So it didn't say it like a philosophical thought. It said, oh, he used a story, this poor guy, and then he didn't know he has the Jew. He didn't know. It's just like all of us, right? We are living miserable life. Well, sort of. But we didn't know we had the Buddha. We didn't know that we had the Buddha nature. So the good friend is like the Buddha, right? He came and tell us, you all have Buddha nature. No, I don't. We don't believe it. I don't. And only finally, if we follow the way of practice and we realize, oh, it's right here in a pocket. It's right here. So until we find or we realize the Buddha nature inside ourselves, then our life will change. So he used a story to teach us about the Buddha nature. Simple, right? You still understand? Okay. There's more. There's one more. The burning mansion. Okay. So it's all about, okay, there's a rich guy. Okay, another rich guy. So one day he came back from a trip and from far he saw that his old mansion was burning, was burning down. And then he said, oh, it's bad. All my kids are still there. So he ran back. Yes, all his kids are still in the house, in the mansion. And they didn't know that the house was burning down. So, and everyone was just still busy playing with the toys, right? So he yelled at them, try to make them out, lure them out, but they didn't want to. No, having fun with my toys, I don't want to go out. So they didn't know that the house would collapse anytime. So what the rich man did, he thought of an idea. He told them that, no, come on, daddy, just come home. No, we bought you very precious, like oak cart, beautiful horse car and everything. Come on, everyone has a very special present. Wow, so when the kids hear that, everyone threw away, whatever they're doing, ran out, and then they ran to safety. Okay, that's the end of the story. So what does it mean? Okay, what's the moral value behind the story? All right, okay, who is this father? Who does this father represent? The first question. Okay, Sanjie or someone who reaches Chinese name. The story is Sanjie Ru Huozai. Okay, the Buddha, right? The father is a Buddha. So who are these kids? Us again? Are we always playing the bad guys or the stupid ones in the story? Yeah, it's us, right? It's like we're living in a samsara, right? The samsara is like a burning house. There's always this story that describes the world we live in. It's like a house that's burning. The burning house is the samsara. This is where we are living. So I say that Buddha came to us, yell at us, come on, don't just spoil your life, Don't be so too much like, don't engage too much in your daily enjoyments, all the unhealthy things, Come on, practice, stay out of it. Come, I can show you, we have let's get enlightened. I can guarantee you a better future. I said, no, I'm too busy making money today. I need my paycheck next month, or no, I got karaoke tonight. I have to go online tonight, maybe tomorrow, not today. Right? So the story tells about we who are enjoying our game, even though the house is burning down. So the story again tells us that this is one of the central idea in the Tian Tai school is the ways, all the methods taught by the Buddha is to lure us to come out from a samsara. Just as long as you step out from there, then he can guarantee you that you will get something much, much better than you're enjoying now. Right? This is kind of the idea behind it. Just stop being greedy, stop being chasing over the things that are meaningless in your life, and start practicing. This is the teachings behind the burning mansion. All right. Well, I can give you, if you are interested, you can just go home and Google the Parables in Lotus Sutra, this title, Parable in Lotus Sutra. At least you'll find another 5 more interesting stories. There are like 7 altogether, which are very famous, right? Go home and read yourself, and you might find it interesting, right? Let's see what you can find. All right, we'll move on. Okay. Parables, yeah? Okay, now the Huayan school, we talk about another rival of Tiantai. It's called Huayan. Huayan is named after a text. The text is called Huayan Jing. Right? The meaning is flower garland. Flower garland. It's also another important Chinese text that was translated from Sanskrit. So this school takes the text as their school name, so you know how important it is. Right? It is appear a bit later after the Tiantai. It's a second school that was formed in China. So they say that ultimate teaching is Huayan Jing, right? The flower garland. It's not the Lotus Sutra, but the Huayan. Okay, how they prove it? Again, he divided the Buddha's teaching, remember? How the Chinese school like to do things? He categorize everything the Buddha taught. All right? He said 5 categories, all right? So he used different way. He said that the lowest one, right? For those who are not smart enough, like Mahayana, it's always the Hinayana. Right? Whoever Hinayana is, the one who study Agama scriptures, we call them Hinayana. You are the like the kindergarten school kids. This is what the Buddha taught you. Kindergarten stuff, Agama scriptures. Well, this is how they look at it, right? The first category. Okay. And the next higher one, they the Buddha started to teach elementary Mahayana teaching. Like what? Madhyamaka and Yogacara. My goodness, I study Yogacara. And I am only the elementary Mahayana. Okay, this is how they see it. They see the Yogacara and Madhyamaka as the elementary school of Mahayana. Okay, what is the secondary school of Mahayana? The third thing is, they call it the Mahayana gradual teaching, right? It belongs to the Tiantai school. Who is the Tiantai? Their rivals, right? They say, oh, you guys only like the secondary school, right? You are not too bad, but you are not the best. We have like kindergarten, elementary. Now you're only a secondary. Okay, who's next? The undergraduate one. They say the Chan school are the undergraduate one. No. Okay, so this is how they. And then the last one is, of course, it's us, the Huayan. But the Buddha's perfect teaching is called the Huayan school. Right. You see the game they're playing. They categorize and then they see. Even though the Huayan teach, remember what the Tiantai said. The Huayan was taught by the Buddha in the first 3 weeks. No, sorry, 3 weeks, right? Yeah, but it was too profound. Nobody understood it. But the Huayan Guru said, of course it's too profound. It's not for you to understand. You elementary school, you're like kindergarten kids. It's for like us Ph.D. students, right? So that's why they say that the highest teaching the Buddha ever taught was the teaching in the Huayan. All right, it's quite deep. I'm not going to. Actually, because I'm not from Huayan school, I find I struggle a bit to understand that too, right? Okay, anyway, I try my best, right? Any questions? Google it, right? Okay, anyway, it's okay. What they talk about philosophy in Huayan is the first thing is say the Buddha has 3 bodies. This is a bit easier to understand. They say the Buddha has 3 bodies. One is called the transformation body. What is it? Transformation body is a physical body you see as a Shakyamuni Buddha, right? Shakyamuni Buddha in the middle. That is called a Rupakaya, the transformation body. Okay, of course, there's not only one, because the Buddha is pervasive everywhere. What is the second body? The second body is called the Sambhogakaya, the enjoyment body, right? This is the Buddha you see in the Pure Land, like Amitabha, right? You see the Okay, you see the Abhidharma at the back, right? The Buddha always had long ears that touching to the shoulders. And his hands is very long until he touches a knee. So these are one of the many figures that shows the Sambhogakaya. I mean, the body of the Buddha. But he's not a normal human being, right? Can you imagine a natural born human being having a figure like the Buddha we saw at the back? If you see one like that, the first thing you will call is the police, right? I saw an alien, right? It's not real because this is not our normal, understanding of like a human body. So the first is a normal human body, but the Buddha, they appear as a Shakyamuni Buddha. The second one is the one that you can only see if you go to the Pure Land, right? The one we see the statue, like that. And the third one is Dhammakaya, the true. Of course, you have a true body of the Buddha. What is it? It's everywhere. It's the highest body, you know. It's even inside you. It's in the breath that you take. It's in the atom. You can say that it's emptiness. It's in every atom, right? It's a basis for the two. So the Dhammakaya, we call it Dharma, right? You know the Dharma. Dharma, it means everything in the world. All the objects, atoms, air, we breathe in. They say, the Buddha is there. It's no difference. Understand? Do you understand that? Is it okay? Yeah, three kind of bodies. So this is a basic idea of the Huayan school. The Buddha, the final thing is the Buddha is everywhere. All right, correct? So you say that the true body of the Buddha never disappear because the teachings is it represents the Buddha. So you know that if you go to a festival, a chanting session in a Chinese temple, you know, before and after you chant the book, right? You put the text, you raise it up. Usually what we do is we raise it, right? And we more like do like a prostration, you know, like a very respectful way. Why? Of course, I think in other religion is similar, but it's because we believe that what the Buddha thought represents the Buddha himself. It's a way of paying respect to the Buddha. So even if you go to a Chinese temple, you will see that if you, after the chanting, you know, you simply put the text on the floor and you'll be yelled at. Have you ever tried that? Okay, don't try that, right? I got yelled at a few times in the beginning. And also that there's even some extreme that says that even the textbook shouldn't be put below your waist. Whenever you are, it should be on the table, it should be below your waist. Because in our culture, we believe that whatever is below the waist belong to the little bit kind of inferior to compared to the above part of the body. Well, there's so many things. Now we can have to understand where it came from, because this is the idea that the Buddha was represented by his words, and his words were written in the book. Therefore, the book itself is the Buddha. So you pay respect to the book as though it is the Buddha himself, because the Buddha is everywhere, it's pervasive. Right? So next time, when you breathe, also you breathe in the Buddha. Be careful of your breath, okay? Don't simply throw that away. Just kidding. All right. So the philosophy about has three bodies. Okay. And just a little bit more, I would say, higher level understanding of Huayan school is they talk about interdependent relationship. In the first class, we talk about remember the 12 dependent 12因缘, right? How the cause and effect. Well, because there's a cause and effect, then effect become another cause to another effect. Keep going and going and going. So the Huayan school, they took this understanding theory and they expand it, I think, to the ultimate way. In a sense that everything is linked. So for them, it's like a mirror, right? Have you ever looked in a mirror? I mean, two mirrors that shine like facing each other. If you go into a lift, maybe if you have two mirrors, if you have three mirrors on the side, you stare at them and you see like it's infinity. Right? You see yourself you see infinity for yourself. They are infinite of yourself in a mirror. So he used this as a way to show the idea of this. One related to another one And on the other one is like a net. So they call that the Indra's net. This net is all connected. You and I are connected, and me, two of us connected to few more people. Everybody is connected. So it's called the Dharma Dhatu. Anyway, forget about the name. It's just that everything is connected, and the cause and effect is so complicated. But this is the Huayan. This is the one. They say that this only can be understood by the Buddha. We ordinary people, we can only see maybe one layer. Oh, I ate a bad apple this morning. Then I got stomachache in the evening. Yeah, I can saw that relationship, right? I was late to work this morning, and then my boss gave me a face for the whole day. Well, that was the cause and effect. You can see it right away. But you say the Buddha will see much more than that, not just one face, but infinite dimensions, just like a mirror. So this is really what the Buddha could see. So the Huayan school in this text, the Huayan Jing, actually explains a lot about what the Buddha realized, the result after you practice for a long time and you become enlightened. This is what you will see. So the Huayan Jing, the specialty of Huayan Jing is it talks about a lot of things that ordinary people will never see. They will never understand. Because it talks about mainly what the Buddha will see. It tells us how it's like if you become enlightened. This is one of the theory talk about, okay, how everything is related. You say, take a beam, for example, right? Let's say you have a house, right? A house need at least 4 beams to form. Okay, let's take beam A. You say all the 4 beams, they are related to each other. Why? Because if you take out a beam, right, a house will not form, right? So if you don't take the beam and form the house, you don't call it a beam, right? So the beam is nothing like a piece of wood. So you say that a beam, so in that case, the beam itself is the cause to form a house. And without a house, a beam is not even a beam. So these two, they are the cause of each other. So they are mutually dependent on each other. Okay, but it's not too hard to understand. So what it says is, when the beam is the same, or 2 beams are identical, but they are also different, because they need 2 beams, at least 4 beams to form a house, and they have different characteristics. So what he's trying to say is, all is one and one is all. So you and I, even though we are different, we look different, I'm a man, you're a woman, but it doesn't matter. For the Huayan Jing, for the Huayan idea, you and I are, if we have different characteristics, fine, but we have the same Buddha nature, we live in this world, we have a separate way of practice. So at the end, we still come back to form the same whole. So in another way, this is a very kind of high level way of saying non-dualism. But yeah, so he used the idea of the beam to say that there's no difference between you and I. There's no difference between me and the watch. There's no difference between me and the clock. Okay? So you're nodding your head? Good. I don't understand that too. Anyway, just non-dualism, okay? But this is the idea of it. The Huayan school always gives this kind of idea. All right, now, okay, now I have a feel of what it talks about, right? Can I have another volunteer to read this part? Maybe someone from the Zoom can turn on your mic. Help us read this. Anyone? Do I see any hand? I'll just call out name. Okay, I see someone smiling at me. Call, Leven. Can you hear me? Okay, you nod your head. All right. You'd like to read this for us, please?
In each atom are innumerable lights, pervading the lands of the 10 directions, all showing the Buddha's enlightenment practices. The same in all oceans of worlds. In each atom, the Buddhas of all times appear, according to inclinations. while their essential nature neither comes nor goes. By their own power, they pervade the worlds.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, each atom there are innumerable lights. One atom there are innumerable lights, and pervading a land of 10 directions, all showing the Buddha's enlightened practices. The same in all ocean of worlds. One is all is one. Whatever they mean, yeah. One is all is one. Try to make sense of it, right? So even in each atom, you can see the whole universe. Pretty simple. And every universe, every atom, there's a Buddha, infinite Buddha in it. So this is like the infinity, you know, they put the idea of infinity into a way that makes sense of the whole universe. So anyway, well, of course, some of the teachings in the Huayan Jing is quite hard to grasp because this is like the understanding of the Bodhisattva and the Buddhas. They show us how it like. Of course, there's something more mundane. I mean, something more that you can tell us, what do you learn from the Huayan Jing? Okay, what do you learn? Now I'm going to show you one. This is a very interesting part of a long story they found in the Huayan Jing. It's called the Sudana's 53 Reliance. Okay, what is it about in the Jing? This is a very famous young kid, a young kid in the sutra. What it says is, this young boy, you know, he has the urge to go out and look for enlightenment, right? So he went to different teachers. So for all his journey, he was sent by one of the Bodhisattva to go and visit 53 Kalyanamitra, that means spiritual friends. So who are these friends? They including a prostitute, right? He included the Buddha's wife and his mother, who already, you know, in the heaven. And he met a queen, a princess, several goddesses. He met a slave, a child, a physician, a ship's captain, right? So the story was very uplifting, you know. Whichever one he went to, they gave him some direction and teaching. Okay, let me see here. For example, in the story, one of the person he met was an Arhat, right? He met an Arhat. So Arhat gave him direction on how to meditate and how to get rid of his suffering. Okay, so this is one teaching he received. And then another received, and then when he went to a ship's captain, the captain showed him how to look for direction in the night sky when there's no light at all. Right? How to find direction, how to know where you're going. So this is about teaching too. And he went to a doctor. Doctor teach him how to use the herbs as medicine to cure himself and cure other people. And he went to a bodhisattva, right, who even showed him how to practice the metta and compassionate mind. So anyway, the teaching, the whole story is I would say is very uplifting. It's because it tells us a way of practice in Huayan Jing is we have to really not just study the text, but we have to learn from whoever that we meet. There's always some good qualities in the people we meet. Might he or she be a prostitute? Might he or she be a king or a queen? They're able to teach us something. So they might teach the thing they teach us will have impact on our life. So in a way, it taught us to be humble, right? To be a practitioner, you have to really ask for help from everyone around us. Give us directions, give us suggestions, advice. So actually, when I came upon this part, it really touched my heart. It really teaches us to be humble. No matter who you are, you have to open up your mind to really accept what other people does, what they do. They can have something that we can learn from. All right. So anyway, this is what we taught in the Huayan, in the Huayan. Okay. Now let's take a little bit of change from what you might you see the figure now, the pen and the paper. Now I want you to do a little work for yourself, right? think about your journey as far as you remember in your life. There must be one or two or three or five spiritual friends, family members, even your enemies. Okay, write down who they are and what is the impact of them on your life. Right? Do a little work on yourself. Try to do a little bit of self-discovery, right? Throughout your upbringing or in your studying, in your work, in your career. Are there anyone? Yeah, let's do it. Spiritual friend that has impacted your life. If you few minutes to fill it up. If you cannot think of one or two, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay too. It's okay. Anyone need help? Okay. That's fine. That's a big issue. Okay. Let's come back. Everyone got something written? Yeah. Okay. I just thought of my first friend who lured me into Buddhism by her cooking. Yeah. I was in Canada. I was a poor student, and she's a good chef. She cooked vegan. That was my first time ever in my life I heard about vegan. That was more than 20 years ago. Vegan. It's a new name, a new term. I was thinking, whatever it is, as long as it's free, So she took me to a restaurant. She cooked us a meal. I'm like, oh my goodness. The first time ever I tried vegetarian in such a delicious way. And the next thing I knew, I was brought to the meditation center, which is next door to the restaurant. So that's how I started my studying of Buddhism. So I'm really thankful for her. Yes, she really changed my whole life because of one meal of vegan food. And I was brought to a meditation center, right? So beware of good food, right? So greed really, really cause you trouble. The trouble might stay with you for whole life. Another one is Yang Ten. He is my first Tibetan teacher. He taught me meditation. He taught me many things. So it really impacted because he was an engineer. He was an electrical engineer. And I studied mechanical engineering. So so we kind of spoke a similar language. 1 and 0. No, not 1 and 0. I mean, the way we explain things, like I remember when I talk about focus and concentration, he used a machine, like the laser beam, to talk about how he used a laser, a very strong, powerful laser to cut diamond. We know that diamond is the hardest thing in the world. How can you cut diamond? They use laser beam. The whole class, just like this class. So he was the one talking about a laser machine and how powerful, how many watts, and how precise it was. He talked about 5 minutes to explain what is concentration. And I was the only one like listening very eagerly. I look at the other fellow like, what? Yeah, interesting. But nobody was really understood what he was talking about. So I was the only one who was interested, into mechanical things and machines and things like that. So and then we went through a lot of fun time. Okay, anyway. Right, so maybe I take one or two of you, you'd like to share one of the, we call that the Kalyana Mitra, and it's the spiritual friend who has impacted your life. You can say it out. Who is that person? What impact you have? I know where the mic is. Right there. You want to? Yeah, just anyway. You can just start.
I was brought up with a Buddhism family, so I don't know anything about Buddhism. But whenever we have to fill up a form, we put our religious Buddhism. Okay. I was brought to Buddhism by one of my line dance friends. She started inviting me to do a volunteering work. Actually, she told me that she needs somebody to help to arrange a high tea. So people like what you said, was attracted with high tea.
Oh, food again.
So I said, oh, high tea, not bad, got food to eat. So that's how I come in. Actually, that time I was doing a volunteering work in this temple where we invite 10 homes. Then we throw the high tea event to all the homes. We also collect funds. So from there, I find it very meaningful and interesting. So that's from where I started to go around this temple and I find all the Buddha statues, which I really don't know who are there. Because Taoism at home, beside Guan Yin Pusat, the rest of I don't know who are there. So from there, I find it, oh my God, I fill out the form Buddhism, but I don't know anything about Buddhism. From there, I move around, okay, to become a volunteer. Until then, I'll become a committee here, now and then that's how I jump, and then I go around temple already. That's where I started to find more information about Buddhism. So I really appreciate that she bring me in. That's one.
Yeah.
And then the second one that I would like to say is the practitioner camp that I joined under Chuan Sifu.
Okay.
Even though I don't know Mandarin, I'm very thankful that Sifu accept me in. And then I got one friend that is very, very helpful. Whenever there is a time, she will do all the translation for me. And then from there, I learn and I follow the sifu learn Buddhism from the beginning until I get a little bit knowledge about Buddhism. Then I find it is very difficult if I continue need my friend to do all the translation. So that's how I joined Theravada side. When Theravada side, I find it is very much different compared to Mahayana. Theravada is more lenient compared to Mahayana. This is the person that I wanted to thank, my friend that bring me in, and one Sifu, Chuanan Sifu, that gave me the opportunity to join her practitioner camp, which normally she only take mostly is people that who know Mandarin.
Okay.
I zero. So I just go in, she just do all the translation for me.
Okay. Great. Great. Thanks to your friend too. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks,
But
Jess.
all of them are not
Thanks, Jess. Next time, make sure they are here. Okay. Anyone on Zoom like to share? Yeah, I'm staring at you.
Shifu, I think Sharon raised her hand. Maybe Sharon can
Oh,
share.
yeah, please unmute yourself. Maybe I missed that.
Yeah.
Info.
Hi,
Hi, Sharon.
Venerable. I'd like to share, I joined a mentorship program. And, from
Okay,
the
Sharon. The connection is not so clear.
learn about non-attachment to a job. So all the while I was the work at the job, retirement age, and yeah. Can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, now it's better.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, Sharon, you can. Oh, I think she's offline.
Oh, maybe the connection not so strong.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe anyone else who want to share, you can unmute yourself until Sharon comes back.
There's one
Can you
from
hear
Hong Kong.
me now?
Yeah, you're back.
Sharon can
Yes. Is this okay? Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, go on.
I actually joined a mentorship program. Yeah, I joined a mentorship program, and I learned about non-attachment to a job. That is, instead of thinking you work at a place till retirement age, to actually not be attached to it, because anytime that job may be taken away from a person. So that's one thing that I learned. And also to make time for things that are important to you. There's actually no such thing as no time. Like, don't wait until a person goes to hospital to visit. You know, can make time for them also. So that's one thing that I learned. Yeah. And another thing also from another mentor was to be aware of our involvement in things. For example, what's within our control and what's beyond. For example, if we keep talking about things that happen in a workplace, talking bad about people, does it actually help to build a conducive environment, or does it make the environment more toxic? Yeah, so these are things that I've learned.
Oh, I see. So stop talking, gossiping about what happened at work.
Yeah, because it doesn't, it just brings everyone down and we all feel bad and think about wanting to leave.
Oh, okay. I thought sometimes if we let go the steam, let the steam out, we might not be feeling so, so suppressed anymore.
Yeah,
So
maybe maybe once or twice, but if it's like a daily chit chat
Okay.
about the bad things, then that's not very healthy.
So once
Yeah.
a week is fine.
Maybe.
All right. Let's make a time for gossiping. All right.
Yeah,
thanks.
thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Sharon.
you.
Yeah, that's a great advice.
Okay, I have a sharing.
Yes, someone.
Years
Let me
ago, I have a Tibetan master.
Before we can't hear, we can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear? Maybe you need to like really speak to this little little square thing. Is it on?
Yeah, can you hear?
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Very soft.
Very soft. But mine is strong, right?
This way.
Yeah,
Can you hear now? Can you
Yeah.
hear?
Shout at it, yes.
Okay. Years ago, I met a Tibetan master. In fact, I started a Tibetan center more than 20 years ago. And then this Tibetan master was supposed to perform a puja to overcome difficulty. And I was very anxious that a friend of mine come attend this puja because he was having a lot of business problems. So in front of my guru, I was trying to persuade him to come for this puja. And this guru told me, he said, if his standing is not right, no matter how you persuade, he can't make it. He told me that. I didn't believe. I insisted on this man. I said, make sure you come on this Sunday. And then that Sunday morning, he did not show up. So I called him again. And then he told me his car broke down. So end of the day, I come to realize now, when the timing is not right, no matter how you want to help, you can't help the person.
Okay, so that's the thing. All right.
Let me check again. They say they couldn't hear. Really? Okay. All right, stop. Keep for a moment. Let me hear now. So, Louis, if I speak now, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Shifu, we can hear you. Maybe you can just briefly, repeat the question and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, the sharing again. So you were talking about your friend who couldn't come for the practice. Okay, for the puja to overcome the difficulty. So the purpose of the puja is to overcome difficulty. Okay, and it could.
No matter how I persuade him, so my guru told me if his timing is not right,
okay.
No matter how you persuade him, he won't come. On that day itself, he really didn't show up. So when I called him, he told me his car broke down. He wanted to come, but
okay.
So my guru then laughed at me that I told you when the timing is not right, you can't make it.
So he want to make sure that he want to tell us that the teaching that the guru taught him was really real. He said that if your timing is not right, no matter how eager you wanted to come for the puja, you just couldn't make it. So his friend wanted to come finally after a few times of invitation, and then he wanted to come in the morning. By that time, the car broke. So the thing is, I don't know, the moral lesson is don't give up pursuing your friend. Yeah.
I become very patient.
Teach
people, if they don't listen, I give up.
So he become very patient now. Right? He become very, very patient now.
Yeah.
So a few times, if you still don't take it, forget about him. Move on. That's emptiness. Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Let go. Okay. Okay, Louis, is it better now? I make sure you can hear me.
I can hear you, Shifu. Yes, your voice is very clear.
How come? We're both in the same microphone.
Maybe it's too far away, like the sound is very far.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we are more freestyle, when we speak, sometimes we do this. All right. Anyway, speak where you're supposed. Know your direction, okay? Don't give up your direction. Focus. All right. Anyway, just continue. And there's another one I want to read out to you by Abby. I believe she's Abby from Hong Kong. She said, Venerable Youmin influences me to read Di Zhang Jing Kasitigaba Sutra for elderly. So she wants to thank a venerable. Her name is Youmin. Because, oh, 因为发誓, okay, he, right? He's a monk who asked her to chant the Ksiti Sutra to elderly people. 地藏经 of there's a lot of karma being generated. So she feels thankful for that. Anyway, okay, I'm sure you have lots of stories, but let's move on at the moment. Okay, now we come to Chan school. Take a bit of time talking about the school where I belong. The Chan. Okay, what is a Chan? Is translated from the Sanskrit term dhyana, yeah, means meditation. Like Chan, Chan Xiu, right? You heard the Chinese term Chan Xiu. Chan is dhyana, dia, yeah. It comes from a first character, the first sound of the word dhyana. So it also came from India, yeah. Known as Zen in Japan, Zen in Japan. Okay. Next time, when you talk to Chinese monk, don't tell them, oh, Sifu, I also practice Zen. What is Zen? No, it's not Zen. It's Chan. Chan, okay? We are not Japanese, right? Zen is the Japanese pronunciation of the Chinese character, Chan. Okay? So the same character has many pronunciations. The Chinese, we call it Chan. Japanese call it Zen. Zen, well, Zen was very popular in North America and in Europe. It was because the Japanese monk went there very early last century. They started teaching meditation, the Chinese way of meditation, but it was Japanese style, right? It was Japanese. So they call it Zen. So nowadays we should change. What I learned was Chan, okay? Not Zen. Okay. Just want to let go a little bit of my, I would say, something that I buried in my heart for a long time. I want to let go. No, we are not Zen. We are Chan, okay? I cannot let that go. I don't let that go, all right? I will keep trying. Okay. One special thing about Chan is they don't legitimize authority in scriptures. It means that no word is needed. Everything is transmitted mind to mind. You don't read the text to understand Chan, right? You don't need to really go to the library, borrow books and read. Reading doesn't help you meditate. Okay, that's a main idea. All right, so what is it about? So it advocates mind-to-mind transmission. So it traces back all the way to Shakyamuni Buddha. So one famous story in the Chan tradition is the first transmission of meditation is from the Buddha to his first disciple, Mahakashyapa, right? Dajasa, I think so. Yeah. So there was one occasion when the Buddha, like every day, he has a time where he sat, and he will preach, he will give Dharma talk to all his students. There was one time, he sat there quietly for a long time, didn't say a word. Everybody was curious, what's going on? Something wrong. And then slowly the Buddha picked up a flower in his hand. Like nobody knew what the Buddha was doing until like the Dajasa, like the Kasapa, he said, no, he didn't say anything. He smiled at Buddha. At that time, the Buddha know, okay, you are my, what do you call it? The true transmitter, the true transmitter. Do they call transmitter? Transmitter is so electronics anyway. Well, you receive my transmission, okay? You're my hair. A hair, right? So this is according to the Chan story, how the Chan transmission started from the Buddha to his disciple, all the way to, Bodhidharma. Right? This is Bodhidharma. He is the 28th generation who first went to China to transmit the teaching of the Chan meditation. So, according to Chan school, of course, yeah, we don't really have like a historical record of it. But anyway, this is according to the the family tree for the family. So it's very important to trace back to India. That's the idea. Okay, so this is what they believe. The mind use that.
Just now you say that the chant does not exist in India, right? But how come the transmitter is from India?
Excellent. Because we don't find the same school called chant or dhyana in India. Well, of course, they say that they don't appear in India, but the teaching, they have a direct lineage all the way back to Buddha Shakyamuni. That's what makes the chant's teaching legitimate.
So it's,
The school, you don't find a
so it is not called chant in India.
oh, they don't
It's
have a
something
they don't have a name. They don't even have a similar school in India that looks like the chant we have in China. It's quite a new way of doing the practice of meditation. It's quite different from the traditional way we learn from Theravada school. So the chant way, we have developed some new methods, which is quite different. So in order to show that it's legitimate, we have to trace back to the Buddha, right? But no one say Buddha never thought that. No one could say that, right? So you have to accept it. Anyway, so chant didn't exist. Well, even now, don't exist in India, only in China. It was formed in China, but the teaching itself, the content, can be traced back to Shakyamuni Buddha. The way, the transmission, it's not by word, by the mind. It's just the mind spoke to the mind, thing like that, right? Okay, right? It's like a modern matrix. You read other people's mind. Okay, these are the lines. This is a poem that's the most important to the chant school. Say no setting up scriptures, a separate transmission outside the teachings, pointing directly at a person's mind, seeing into the nature and attain Buddhahood. Okay, the first line is Buddhism. So you don't need scriptures to understand chant. Okay, 教外别传, it means that the teachings of the chant is not from the traditional scriptures that we all read. It is not in the scriptures, as the meaning is that you don't find the chant teaching in the sutra, the original teachings from the Buddha. No, it's not, because it is not transmitted through speaking. It's transmitted through the mind. So the Buddha never spoke about it, right? Through the mind itself. So that is how they look at it. And then just pointing directly at a person's mind. The teaching itself, the practice itself, it shows us how the mind works. And you can get it right away. Oh, this is how my mind works. Okay, this is the goal. And the goal is what? To see into the nature and attain Buddhahood. This is the most important, I would say, the philosophy of the chant school. Okay. Oh, your writing is very fast. I can tell your copying is okay. Is it okay? Can I move to the next page? All right. Now, what is chant, right? Let me do a little bit of I share with you about 3 minutes of a little video. I'd love you to watch. Make sure the sound is on. Okay, it's in my okay, can you all see that? All right, let's start from here. Move it to full screen. And can you hear clearly?
Oneness of concentration and wisdom means when our body-mind is calm and settled, we will naturally generate wisdom. And by developing our wisdom, we will attain a calm body and mind. 40 years on, Master Shengyan established a comprehensive system for Chan teaching, starting from beginners meditation classes, sitting meditation group practice, to advanced level 7, 14, and 49-day Chan practice retreats. With simple, accessible, and correct methods to guide the practice of harmonizing the body, breath, and mind. By starting with body and mind relaxation and mindful breathing, one is able to gradually put down wandering thoughts. let go of attachments, focusing on the present moment of being. The concept of Chan practice at Dharma Drum Mountain is to help people first understand themselves, affirm themselves, and develop themselves, thereby realizing that there is actually no self to be found. In that way, we can let go of our attachments and so dissolve ourself. Chan practice not only helps us attain balance in the body and mind, create a stable psychological state, but also develop insight and compassion. When we know how to use the right methods to reduce our afflictions, we are already increasing in wisdom. To be able to cause less trouble for others is to increase in compassion for ourselves. The Chan practice taught at Dharma Drum Mountain not only helps people with their personal awakening, it also features methods of Buddhist cultivation of no self for the benefit of the self and others.
Okay, well, the reason I want to show you this is it explains like how the Chan is being practiced nowadays. This is a Dharma Drum Mountain where I studied my MA of Buddhism in Taiwan. So they are one of the leading monastery in Taiwan who offer the retreats of 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, or even 49 days. I know that some of you go for different kind of meditation retreat, some 10 days, Vipassana, whatever. So even the Chan Buddhism, we have our own system of how to conduct the meditation. I just want to show you how beautiful the temple is, how beautiful the meditation hall is, like with a very simple design, everything. You stay there for 9 days, you do 7 days, 14 days, you leave, you stay up. According to the schedule, you do whatever you have to do in the day and the night. So just a way of showing you, yes, Chan meditation, we have retreats. And the more important thing is after you go to the retreat, you will learn ways of how to put Chan meditation into practice every day. So this is what this video is about. Yeah, I don't want to let you watch too much of it. So where's my slide? Okay, let me put that in the full screen. Next, desktop one. All right, see the slide? Okay, this is what we just talked about. All right, so there are two methods in the Chan meditation. Okay? The first one is called silent illumination.
Shifu, the slide is not in full screen.
Not in full screen. Okay, where's my share button? Wait, give me a second. Okay, let me open this. And I want to share why. Just let me share. Okay, I see it. Desktop. Oh, find it. Desktop 2. Okay, now you should get it, right? Okay,
Yes,
sure.
Shifu.
Okay, two methods. Silent illumination. What is it? Is you just sit there, counting your breath, watch your mind, watch everything that goes around you. You don't need to even focus on the thing. You hear a voice. Oh, there's a voice. Come and go. You smell something fragrant. Oh, there's a fragrance. Okay, you smell it, you know it, drop it. Come back to your breathing. Just do it again and again. It's like a very free style of meditation, right? You don't, whatever you see, you hear, you feel, you just know it and then you drop it. So that's a silent illumination. You don't really purposely, oh, I sit down here, I want to become enlightened. I want to see things, I want to see like, different lights or whatever. No, there's no goal in that sitting. Just sit and watch whatever that comes to you. So we are already endowed with Buddha nature. In the end, you will come to an understanding of, oh, I have the Buddha nature. That is a Buddha nature. So silent means you just sit quietly and you don't dwell in any thought. The point is, of course, we have thoughts, right? We think all the time. It's impossible to stop our thinking unless you become, you have certain level of dhyana. But usually our thoughts just non-stop. The thing here means that you know you have thoughts, but you don't hold on to your thought. You don't follow your thoughts. You stay where you are. You watch the thoughts comes, goes, arise, subsides. So that is, we call it, do not dwell on them. But they are there. They are not gone. All right, that's the point. Illumination means that you have insight, right? It's like you yourself become a mirror. You see your thoughts coming in front of you, like the sky, it's watching the clouds floating around. So you are like a clear sky, like a mirror. So this is what it means by silent illumination. This is one way of meditation, right? Very freestyle. No purpose goal, right? Just watch. So this is what they call silent illumination. And there's another another method, the very famous method in Chan is called Gong An, or Hua Tou. Okay, so what is it about? Okay, let me see. Do we have time? Okay, yeah, I can watch this about, 3 minutes or so. Okay, oh, no. Okay, let's talk about the Hua Tou Chan. Hua Tou is a dialogue, right? It's a dialogue between the master and the student, right? And the koan is a record of the dialogue, the whole event. The Hua Tou means the critical word of the event. So koan is a whole story that describes what happened. The Hua Tou is just one word, right? So the purpose is to generate doubt and a shock, a surprise, which breaches our taken for granted expectation. Something that make you pause and you don't know how to react and make you have doubt. That's the purpose of it. So for example, this is a very famous koan in the Chan Buddhism. We say that a monk asked one of the master, right, his master, Zhao Zhou, he said, does a dog have the Buddha nature? And we learned from just now that even a tree has a Buddha nature. So he asked the master, does a dog have a Buddha nature? And his master said, Wu. Wu means no, it doesn't have. So isn't it bizarre that we just talk about what we know in Mahayana Buddhism? We say even a rock has a Buddha nature. How come a dog doesn't have? So this answer was out of expectation. So that made the guy, that made the monk ponder, like he was shocked, he was surprised, and then something out of expectation. So he started to have doubts. What does that mean? So the koan and the Hua Tou is a very short version of the koan, right? Or phrase. Wu, the word itself is a wu, become the koan. The purpose of it is to, when you meditate, right? Like this is one of the Hua Tou, right? The short phrase that you meditate. What is nothingness? You just sit there, like you don't, okay, of course, beginning, you count your breath, make sure you reach a certain kind of like steadiness. And then the next thing, what you do is you start asking question. What is nothingness? One time, second time, 3 times, 4, until you keep asking. Of course, there's no answer for that. There's no answer for that. So the thing is, the more you ask until you come to a point that you almost have like nervous breakdown or something, right? Then we hope that at that time you like, remember the chant is like, it's not transmitted through words, it's by the mind. So by asking the question, it forces us not to think in a logical way, even not thinking at all. but just to keep asking questions until we have doubt about ourselves, about our understanding, about our words, about our all the belief system that we have formed since you were born. We have doubt about it. So the purpose of this is the purpose of the Hua Tou, right? To raise doubt. So next time if you go to a temple, right, a Chai meditation, then this is what you do. You sit down and just keep asking a question. So let's do it sometime if you have time. Sit there for 10 minutes and you keep asking a question. Of course, in the Chan record, we have more than 1,500 koan, right? Each has a very specific phrase that you can learn. 1,500. I think one is enough to make us crazy, right? But you got 1,500. So this is how you practice. This is the way, a little bit different, but it's a way that they taught in the Chan Buddhism. Anyway, we're not going too deep into that. I just want to let you have a little bit of knowledge about it. Next time if you go to a Chinese temple, then you'll be able to know what's going on. Okay, Louis, I think I can stop here. Do we need to maybe 1 or 2 minutes? I think. Okay. Do we?
But there are quite a number of questions.
Oh, number. Okay.
I think I'll send the question to you lah, because
okay.
Yeah.
So how about on the spot? Any comments, feedback, anything? Okay. For the one online, yeah. If you want to ask now, you can turn on your mic. Everyone can hear you. Don't worry. Now, if not, I also open to the floor. First come, first serve. Any comments? Anything you'd like to clarify? Oh, yeah. Okay. Where's the microphone? Okay, make sure. Okay. Louis, you tell me whether you can hear it or not. All right.
Okay.
Mic test, mic test.
Really? Can you hear it?
Can you hear me?
No.
Eh? Strange. No?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No. Where?
It's funny. Maybe you come closer. Come.
Okay, yes.
Sorry about that. I don't know why.
Reception, possibly.
Okay, let's use mine.
Is this better? Can you hear me? Is this better?
Okay, it's very soft, it's very far. So if you, maybe you read your question and then we
Okay,
see
what is your question? Okay.
Right. I have a lot of questions, but let's start with one simpler one. So what I know about Chan Buddhism or Zen Buddhism is what I've read, at least. Maybe I don't really know much about it. So what I've read is like there are like 2 schools of Zen, something like Rinzai Zen and Soto Zen. Is that strictly a Japanese sort of development historically, or does that 2-school distinction originate from China?
From China. From China.
From China.
Yeah.
I see. So the 2 schools originated from China, and then both schools went to Japan, and then the 2 schools continued.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad you see.
Okay.
Yes.
So my question is, when I don't know, there's this line of transmission from Tatyasa and then all the way to Bodhidharma, right? Bodhidharma. But at that time, Bodhidharma does not belong to any of the 2 schools. It is only later that.
Yeah, it happened quite late. Just when it came, they only had Bodhidharma, his own teaching. There's even no name called Chan. It only later when we have more students, more disciples, then only they call their own group. They give it a name. And only then the bigger group split into smaller one. Then we have different schools like Linzai, Chaotong. There are mainly 5 of them that it become divided into 5 different sects from the Chan school.
Okay, I see. So I'm asking about this line of transmission. So all these schools, I imagine they share this same historical line of transmission all the way to Bodhidharma and then continue on. And then at some point
they broke up. They broke out. Yeah, exactly.
So you have like a line and then like
branch.
multiple branches.
Yeah. You can find that thing. You can find their family tree online. All the Chan school are really clearly, they can see where they branch out.
Oh, I see. So, these different branches, they continue until now, right? I presume there are still sort of lineage holders or teachers in.
No, I think only in Malaysia and China, there are only 2 or 3 very significant ones. I think 1 or 2 die out, but in Japan, at least I know 5 of them are still there. But I think only 2 of them are almost kind of like quiet and really, almost gone. So not all remain today. Some of them, because they don't have students or they don't have their, disciple, they just die out nowhere sometime in history.
Okay, my final question for now. My final question for now is, so in order for these branches or these lines of transmission to continue existing, presumably you have to have like master to disciple and then master to disciple. So how do they select like the master? Is it like the previous master selects the new master and that goes on? Or is there a way to, I don't know, is there a democratic election to elect the next master? Like this branch, how does it continue to exist and who decides that?
Usually it's appointed by the headmaster, not headmaster, I mean the head monk, like the lineage holder. He will decide which one he will want to pass on. Usually that's the case. But of course, if you have, let's say you have 10 students, right? 9 of them want this guy to go, but you like the other one. Of course, usually you follow, the group. But usually it's the head monk, the one who hold the transmission, will decide which one to pass on. That's the case. It's not so much democratic. Yeah. It's a little bit dictatorship, but it's a good way.